I'm Wayne, and this time I'm going to paint some green. Some really, really bright green. I picked up some of these Vallejo Fluorescent paints a while back, and I tried them, and to be honest, I couldn't really get them to work. So yeah, I did what you would normally do, so I mixed them really well and put some agitators in there. But whenever I tried them, they just came out super gloopy, and if I thinned them down with water or medium or anything else I tried, to be honest, it just didn't work. I managed to get some on some minis and it looked atrocious. I mean, good luck getting a smooth finish with that. So I put them back on the paint rack, and to be honest, kind of forgot about them. And to be honest, that's where they've sat for the longest time. They've just been relegated to the probably never going to use. If somebody ever wants some, I'll quite happily give them away. I'm probably never going to use them again. So fast forwards a little while, and one of my friends suggested that I sign up for the community Grot project. Turns out some random nut job decided that what they really wanted to do was paint 1,000 or so grots and have an entire army of them, and it would be a good idea. However, after 300 odd grots being painted, this dude, a guy called Matthew Everett, decided that, you know what, wasn't the best use of his time. Definitely the better idea was to crowdsource other people painting them for you. So I hit him up on Instagram, dropped him a message and said, I'll quite happily paint you one up. And he was pretty cool about it. He was like, yeah, sure, go for it. As you would, you know, he doesn't want to paint them himself, so why not? And some time passed again. I totally forgot all about that again. So then, fast forwards again to not so long ago. The post comes. I'm excited because who doesn't like getting post? Little package. I couldn't remember ordering anything from Amazon. Occasionally it happens, you know, a little bit too much wine. PlayStation 5 turns up, that kind of thing. But no, this tiny little package was a 2nd edition Grot, some cool little stickers, and a card with some rules on it. I was like, yep, totally forgot about this. I'm gonna have to paint this Grot. So I racked my brains for a while, thinking, what am I gonna do with it? I don't know. Do I just paint it, get out the door, and send it back to the guy? I promised I was gonna do it. I don't really want to go back on my word, but I couldn't really think of anything interesting to do, and I wasn't really up for converting it, but I wanted it to stand out. So after a considerable amount of head scratching, I was looking at my paint collection and what pops out, but you guessed it, this stupid paint, this bright green. I was like, well, maybe it's me, maybe I'm the problem, and I can get it to work, and I've got a reason to try it now, so maybe I will try it again. But what can I do different? Airbrushing. Airbrushing is what I can do different. And you know what? I got it to work. I got it to work really, really well. Let's get into it then. I'm going to start with a nice flat grey prime, just using cheap off-the-shelf rattle can primer here, guys. And here we go. Just don't forget the most important thing when you're doing any sort of modelling that's got a gun. Drill out the barrel. Nothing's going to look good unless you drill out the barrel. This is the most important step. Let's jump right on into this then. I'm using Vallejo Fluorescent Green, like I said. It's colour code 72.104 and it is obscenely bright. Very, very strong colour. Very thick, like I said. What I'm going to do is get this airbrush ready. I'm using my Iwata Eclipse here, and I'm going to just prepare the paint in the pot. What I'm looking for is the consistency of milk, maybe a little bit thinner. The first thing we're going to do is put a couple of drops of airbrush thinner in there. Again, I'm using Vallejo, but use whatever brand you like. 3 to 4 drops. And then next up, I'm going to put in some flow improver as well. And again, I'm going to put in about an equal quantity of flow improver to start off with. So 3 to 4 drops of that. I really wasn't joking when I said this stuff needs mixing really well. So I'm using a agitator, and I've got a couple of metal balls in there as well. you really do need to shake this so thoroughly it separates from the medium so bad, so give it a good couple of minutes of really vigorous shaking. Once you're happy that it's shaken enough, let's put a little bit in the airbrush pot, not too much, we can also add some more later. Get in there with an old brush and give it a good old thorough mix. We're looking for the consistency of milk, remember, so I like to drag it up the side of the pot and just see how it runs down. If I need to, give it a little bit more of a stir. And if it's not quite the consistency we're looking for, add a little bit more thinner. Just another couple of drops and get back to that mixing until we got that consistency that we're looking at and it's running down the side of the pot. Nice. And we're about ready to go. So I run my compressor at about 30 psi, but that's totally dependent on what you like in your setup. You want it so that it's high enough pressure so that it's getting a nice clean flow and no splattering, but not so high that you get in spider webbing. Bearing in mind this is really thin now, a little bit thinner than normal airbrush paint, which is exactly how we want it, but that means you are going to get spider webbing if you're too high a pressure. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from one side to the other, laying down really thin coats, letting each layer dry before we put the next one on top. Don't saturate the area. The key to getting this to look really good is to go thin coats, wait, another coat, and we build it up over time. It's not the fastest process, but it really is worth it with this colour. It's so vibrant if you do it like this, and you'll get a really smooth, even finish. So we're just going to work on all the areas of the mini that we want to be the green colour. Not that it really matters, we're going to paint the rest of it anyway, so you know, feel free to overshoot, but I just like to be a little bit neat, that's just me. So let's speed it up a little bit and get through this now, shall we? Know what we're doing. So bearing in mind, what we need to do is let each layer dry. So at points, I'm letting just 100% air come through my airbrush, assuming they've got a dual action airbrush. If you don't, then you're just going to have to wait between each layer for it to dry. Keeping an eye on your pressure all the time and making sure you regularly clean the tip. It's a really important thing to do. People often forget it when they're new to airbrushing, but if you have build up on the tip or tip dry, you can get splattering of the paint, which kind of spoils the finish when you put so much effort into it. So nice and slow, just chill out. Remember, this is not the fastest process, but it's only going to take you a couple of minutes realistically. I think it took me about 15 minutes to do this entire model, and we got a really vibrant green. So just sit back, enjoy the process, and get all Bob Ross about it. And there we have it. Once everything's finished and dry, we laid down some base coats and paint them as we would normally. Once you've knocked the colour back a little bit during painting, it's not quite as vibrant, but it still really stands out, and it makes a really good base coat for particularly bright Orcs and Gretchens 2nd edition style. How did you get on with yours? Too bright? Not bright enough? Any problems laying down those fluorescent colours? Let me know in the comments. It'd be interesting to see how you guys get on. So, there we go. I found the secret to getting some really good results with the Vallejo Fluorescent colours. That's a mouthful, isn't it? But yeah, not everybody's got an airbrush, I appreciate that. However, for me, that seemed to work. It's the only way that I have got them to work, and I'm so excited about trying this pink now. The Necrons that I'm going to be painting from the Indomitus box are just going to look so cool with the glowing pink. The Dynasty that I've chosen to paint mine, they've already got some pink glow, but it's nowhere near as vibrant as this is going to be, so it's going to be like chef kiss. That's where it's at. There we go. If you guys have got any other ways of getting some good results from these colours, I'd be really interested to know, so maybe you could let me know in the comments. Maybe there's been something I've been doing wrong, something I don't know about, some kind of instructions somewhere on how I get the best results from these without using an airbrush. That'd be something I would love to hear about, so if you do have any secrets, please do let me know. I genuinely would be interested. But yeah, for now I will leave you with some pictures of a couple of other minis that I've done over the past few weeks using the same technique, the same colour, running through the same airbrush, and I have to say, as I've got a little bit more comfortable with it, I really have got some results that I'm particularly happy with. So let me know what you think. If you did like the video and you got some value from it, then do leave me a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave me a thumbs down. Leave me a comment and let me know what I could do better. After all, I'm still learning, so any feedback is good feedback. Either way, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell icon and then you know every time I upload a new video. So, until next time, I've been Wayne, and don't forget, if you are going to do crack, make it plastic. See ya.